Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please first hit the likes and the subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Yes, normally I do the reviews the night of. I waited till the morning to do this one. Anyway, this is for the game on the 25th of January. The Islanders coming to town with Patrick Waz coming into the Bell Center in his first behind the bench coaching job against the Habs, which would have been his third game in the NHL. Nice tribute the Habs did to Waugh. It was very nice to see. Well, it was quite a difference just in the you could see in his demeanor behind the bench, and it was well done as per usual. I don't think anybody in the hockey world does a tribute better than Montreal. So anyway, now we're going to go to the review of the game. Quite a straightforward game. It started out muchly in the Habs' favor. Anyway, the game ended 4-3 for Montreal. We hung on. We came back because we almost blew this game due to a bonehead play towards the end of the third period. I think it was around the last 8 minutes. And good old Galley, and I hope he does get suspended for, the max. I would like to see a 5-game suspension personally. There's no need of what he did within the game. Now, however, I mean, it looked bad. The player, I will say, Palais, however you pronounce his name, did skate in towards Galley. To me, it was just Galley loading up the shoulder. It's just not necessary. I don't like to see it in the game, and this is what we're trying to get rid of. So I do hope that he gets the maximum suspension. I'm getting a little tired of Brendan Gallagher's. And this is something where, it's great that our coaching staff wants to get on our rookies for keeping discipline. You better start practicing what you preach with the veterans as well, because Brendan Gallagher's been doing this quite some time, where he's blowing games for the Habs because of his undisciplined nature. And I got no problem with if you want to be a good coach, you sit this guy's butt. You scratch him from the lineup at times. The message has got to get through. He almost blew this game. I mean, if you're trying to build a culture, I mean, for me, a loss would have been great for the Tankathon. But however, if you're trying to grab an odd win, which it was mostly in their control, however, they were outplayed in this game, believe it or not. Very deceiving to look at the outcome of this game, because the Islanders really took over this game. All right, so final score 4-3, and I'm going to try to make this as brief as possible. Okay, first period, I mean, we just came out with an odd, fortunate flurry of goals. 3-0 first period. Second period, the Islanders respond, break the shutout. So it's 3-1 after 2. Then, of course, like I said, you get bonehead Gallagher taking that dumbass hit to this player's head. And, of course, the Islanders are going to capitalize on this 5-minute major. And it's a matter of time. We were doing good killing penalties, but you put a 5-minute major, and after a lot of the night they were spending time killing penalties, it's going to catch up to you. And it did. So they ended up tying the game. Thank God we ended up getting the winner towards the end of the third. So third period, it was the Islanders getting 2 and the Habs getting 1, which makes the game 4-3. A great game by Sean Monahan, no doubt about it. Good to see him get rewarded for his hard work. Sean Monahan's got his second goal in the game at 2:12 remaining, lifting the Canadiens' 4-3 victory over the New York Islanders, spoiling Patrick Waugh's return to Montreal Thursday night. After the Canadiens gave up a 3-1 lead in the third period, Monahan fired a one-timer into the Islanders' net to put Montreal back on top. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield each had a goal and an assist, and Montreal snapped a 3-game losing streak. Sam Montembeault had a wonderful game. He started, especially in the start of this game, he really made a statement, I would say, in the first 5 minutes of the game when the Islanders were on him. So 43 saves. Very good game for Montembeault. So yeah, and nice tribute to Patrick Waugh coming in to town. Just well done all the way around, and some nice passing plays. So the first star of the game, Sean Monahan, 2 goals, 1 assist, plus one. He's first star, deserved it. Matthew Barzell gets a goal and an assist. Second star, Nick Suzuki, 1 goal, 1 assist, plus one. I did not see Nick Suzuki deserving the third star in this. Sorry. And I have this problem in every building. It seems to be a home team type of thing. However, you get a lot of players that seem to be picked just because they're on that roster. And I'm sorry, Nick played all right. Uh, did he have an outstanding game? Come on now, guys. Let's be real. He had a good game. It wasn't to the degree Sam Montembeault easily should have been a third star. I thought Cole Caulfield had a better game than Nick Suzuki. And I thought even Struble had a better game than Suzuki. So again, I don't like the way they make their decisions in stars. It's not the way it used to be. It's quite a joke nowadays. So Nick Suzuki gets a nice goal to start the game in the 7:06 of the first period, assisted by beautiful pass through the crease. Very quick off the stick of Slavkovsky from Monahan. Monahan we got the second assist, but Slav got that pass in front of the net to Suzuki to bury it. What a beautiful setup. Just a beautiful power play goal, which was nice to see the power play connect. 11:36, Cole Caulfield, assisted by Nick Suzuki. Nice goal as well. What a nice little deke out by Cole Caulfield. Seemed a little easy when you look at it from Bartlemoff's end. I think Bartlemoff's best days are behind him. 12:19, Sean Monahan gets his goal, assisted by Matheson and Montembeault. Power play once again. Uh, Great skater, from the behind the net from Matheson to carry the puck up, and Romanoff misplayed this defensively as he dropped it out in front to Monahan. Just a miscue on. You can see why the Habs unloaded Romanoff. I can tell you that. You can see a lot of weaknesses in the game. So we have a 3-0 lead at that point. Then the second period starts, 3:02. Bo Horvat gets his 20th, assisted by Barzal, who had a great game. He did have a good game. Assisted by Noah Dobson, power play. So they did get a power play as well. Third period starts again, and this is right after Brendan Gallagher takes the biggest bonehead play. He turns, and we were outplayed. Kid yourself not. First period was probably our best performance of being in the game. Second period onward, really, the Islanders took over this game. So it was really on the shoulders of Sam Montembeault. Yes, we didn't play horrible like we did in the previous 3 or 4 games. However, we got outplayed. Lucky to win this game again. The third period, anyway, after bonehead hit by Gallagher, Matthew Barzell scores, assisted by Dobson and Palomari. Power play once again. Of course, they were going to capitalize. Kyle Palomari scores, assisted by Dobson and Horvat. Power play goal, and that evened things up. Sean Monahan gets a beautiful goal, and it was a beautiful pass, I have to say, because Josh Anderson's IQ level. Usually, this is not a play Josh Anderson makes, but he actually took the time to look first as he received a pass from Cole Caulfield, made a couple quick shifts, and threw out a pass right into the slot to Sean Monahan, who wired it home for the winner at 17:48 of the game. Beautiful goal, and I got to give props to Anderson. That's probably one of the best plays Anderson has made all year long, and just a good, beautiful setup. All right, so the final shots were, and this tells the tally of it, 46 shots to 26. Come on now. You don't deserve to win when you keep allowing that many shots against you and you can't produce more shots. 46 to 26, that's doubled. Hits wise, we were a little heavier in the hits. That's what it says here. It was I think it was closer than what it's saying. I don't know who comes up with some of these numbers, and that's why I'm not a total stats guy. Stats have their purpose, but I also say there's a lot of flawed info in stats as well, because I think it's very, I honestly have, I think it's very, how do you, fickle? I think it really depends on where are you getting this information from? Who's jotting down this info? Because I think there's a lot of, pardon my French, BS associated with it. So face offs 26 to 46, or 24, sorry, 26 to 24 face offs won by the Islanders, which was shocking. Power plays 3 for 8. 8! We spent our time in the box most of the night. That's what that tells you. 3 for 8 and 2 for 5 for the Habs. That's a good stat for the Habs, even getting one power play goal. Penalty minutes 10 to 15. Giveaways 12 for the Islanders, 10 for the Habs. Takeaways 4-4. Block shots 18 to 10. Nice to see Montreal get back in the column there. They needed to do that because they had stopped doing that in the prior 4 games. Okay, so penalty summary real quick. Runoff. Hudson gets one at 6:18, 2 minutes for delay of game. Pennard gets one at 9:52 the first. Kyle Palmieri 10-19, 2 minutes for slashing. Jack, I got a dumb high stick penalty, not controlling the stick is what that really was. 14:44. Julian Gauthier gets one at 18:49. 18:49, 2-minute tripping. And then we go into the second. Jaden Struble takes a slashing one at 2:04. Jake Evans takes one at 2:46. Kyle McLean takes one at 10:01. Arbor Jackeye takes another one for interference at 13:40. Now, however, Jackeye took these couple penalties, and I don't like it, of course. Now, I'm just going to finish this off. I'll go right back to that. Anders Lee takes one at 6:12 in the third period. Brendan Gallagher, this is the dumb one, 11:52 in the third period. Served by Michael Pizzetta at 11:52. And that's the boneheaded 5-minute penalty. And it was boneheaded. But back to Jackeye. Yes, what I didn't like is they benched him after these 2 penalties. And I don't know. I honestly, I'm at a point where since Jackeye's return, he does not look like the same Jackeye. Sorry to say that. I love this guy. This guy brings an element to the game. However, it's time for Hughes to come from out back of the office and have a sit down with Martin St. Louis and let this guy play his game, because you're taking his best part of his game away. He doesn't have the intensity, and we need his tenaciousness. Yes, he's going to make mistakes. Who on that defensive core doesn't make mistakes? Because I'll tell you something I don't comprehend. Why? I have no problem with Mike Matheson's talent. I've said all along he is the number 1 right now on defense. But his defensive game stinks. And why do we continue as a coaching staff placing him out there in penalty kills? I got no problem. It's bad enough you're utilizing him on the power play, and he's not that special on the power play. He cashes in periodically. I still think that could be spread around to all of the defense. However, I think he's good at 5-on-5. However, I do not see the use of him whatsoever on the penalty kill. You want to get yourself burned and get scored upon, keep that pairing of him and Savard on in the penalty kills, and that's what we keep doing. And I love Savard, but Savard has one problem. I love that he blocks shots, but on one of those goals, you could see it clearly. He reacted too late, and it was the play was already behind him because he didn't have his man. His response was like a 10-second delay. And then you got Matheson, who gets outplayed for one, as per usual. And, they're back in the game. And Montreal just keeps coming back with these 2. I got no problem that you have, excuse me, that you have respect for your veterans. And you're giving them a little bit of that type of thing. However, I do not agree if a player is not good in that department, you don't use them. You've got four other defensemen, and why the heck again? You're sitting Jack Eye. You're just punishing the guy. You've already screwed up his intensity of that's got to be fixed, and that needs to be fixed by management because that's where you got to sit. I love Marty St. Louis, but you got to sit Marty down and say, no, you need to back off in this department. Let the man play his game. Now, I got no problem with discipline to a degree. He's reeled it in now a bit. He's still getting a couple too many penalties in that particular game. But you could see he's backed off. But let him play his game. Yes, he's going to take the odd penalty. This is the time to make their mistakes. This is the time, but let him put his stamp on the game. So somebody's got to come across because you're wasting Arbor Jacki right now. He just does not have what he had with the Habs on this return. And it needs to be allowed, and you don't go benching him again. Because I can think of several players that deserve benchings that Marty St. Louis won't do because they're veterans. Come on now. We had Josh Anderson when he wasn't performing. That should have had games where he was sat out, and Marty wouldn't do it. Brendan Gallagher had a period where he wasn't performing to par. And for his discipline issues, he should have been sent a message a long time ago for the penalties he's taken in the third period. So, Marty St. Louis, I love you. Great positive person. But you got to get your coaching in check a bit, too. You got to send a clear message evenly across the board. I'm sorry to say it, and I hear these comments by people like Pierre Maguire. I like Pierre Maguire, but I can't say he's the smartest hockey individual I've ever seen on the net because a lot of his opinions, I think, are a joke. I think he's got somewhat of an okay opinion. Do I think, like some of the comments he makes about Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, these guys are not first-line players, never will be. And I'll say it, I'll reiterate, never will be. Let's be realist in Montreal. Never will be. Do we got to do word of the day? Never will be. They're second liners. And even though you wanted to juggle things up with putting Josh Anderson on that first line, he doesn't fit. Yes, to tell you the truth, he's bringing more energy than Suzuki, believe it or not, oddly enough. And that just tells me Suzuki's game is not where it should be. Cole Caulfield has brought his game up. I'll give Cole that, but we got to stop just feeding Cole continually. Everybody expects it. We got to get creative on the power play, even though it worked for us finally last night. Again, we just got a team that's older and slower is where we got a little lucky. However, the majority of teams we're not going to score against because we're not creative enough on the power play. It's always to Cole. And Mike Matheson is the most guilty party of continually just not seeing anybody else on the ice other than, number one, 9 of 10 passes is going to be Cole Caulfield from him, and the 10th pass might be to Suzuki. That's got to change. That's supposed to be a smart veteran. I like Matheson. He's a better player. I like that he's much better than Jeff Petrie, but he has flaws in his game. That's one of them. He's got to use his veteran IQ level a little better than he's been using. Spread that puck out around the ice. That's what makes Sean Monahan so darn good. Sean goes to whoever's open and is ready to receive it from whomever. That's the type of thinking you need. And again, for our defense, I hope we address it in the offseason because I'm sorry to say the structure I see for our defensive zone coverage is not working. And our coaching is penalizing more so the rookies, and I don't buy it. I don't buy it. You start doing it to the veterans as well. Like I say, for Pearson, I give Pearson a pass because he's got to get back into game shape. Pearson will give you 110. There's no doubt about it. But I see other players on this team. I'll tell you right now, you can pump up the tires on Harvey Pinard all you want. This player in the long range forecast of the Montreal Canadiens will not be on this team. He's knocked off the puck too easily. It's not a knock against him. He would probably fit in somewheres where he can be insulated. It can't be Montreal because we got to start sizing up. We got too many small guys, and that's what it comes down to. He is NHL material. I'll grant him that. He just will not fit in Montreal. He's knocked off the puck. Pizzetta, I see some of Pizzetta's hits, and man, it's like somebody going, "Here, I'll give you a rose in the corner." This is not vintage Michael Pizzetta. Sorry. And mind you, he brings more than a lot of the guys on this team. What does that tell you? Scary thought, isn't it? But I'll tell you right now, I hope our defensive coach is changed at the end of this season. I hope our special teams coaches are changed at the end of the season, and somebody's brought in to assist Martin St. Louis better. And like I say, you can have a super intelligent guy, a Hall of Famer, all you want. Great guy like Marty St. Louis. There are flaws to his teaching as well, and he wasn't the type of guy to understand the mindset of a physically tenacious type of player. As far and what I mean, he was tenacious himself. Don't misunderstand me, but he does not have that where a guy Jack Eye's game is to bring that intimidation, and we need that back. And somebody has to sit Marty down and say, "You got to let this guy play, and you got to stop setting him out. He's not going to learn that way. If anything, you destroy the confidence and you destroy what he brings to the game. So get over yourself, Martin St. Louis. Get over yourself, Habs fans, and start treating the veterans the same way. It's like at some point in time, when we get closer to the Brendan Gallagher's contract being, no one's going to touch it. But we get to a point, I have no problem sending him down to the AHL. This is like a year or two down the road here, I'm speaking. Sending him down to the AHL. I don't care how big his contract is, because at that point, he's not going to be much good to us at that point. Yes, he's had a good season this year, thank God, but his bonehead plays and penalties he's taking, if we were trying to make the playoffs, he would kill that, and that's got to change. And we need an objective mind to step in and come in and talk to her. Marty's young at coaching, and there's things he needs to learn. I'm sure that Patrick Waugh could handle Arbor Jacki better than Marty's handling him. I just don't like it whatsoever. And I just think it's time for Jeff Gordon. Maybe Jeff Gordon's got to come down and say, no, Marty, you got to back off and start. You're preaching one thing. If you're going to preach it, you got to start making your veterans follow the same uh, scripts. Okay? So that's all I ask from Marty. I think you're a wonderful coach. I think you bring a breath of fresh air to the team. But you are no perfect guy behind that bench. Some of your theories and the way you treat players is not out there. Yes, you are doing a wonderful job making Slab, but just tearing that line apart. Number one, because it hasn't performed. He's still a better fit with Suzuki and Caulfield. He sets up a lot of plays. He's got a lot to learn, no doubt about it. But Josh Anderson is not the answer, and Harvey Pinard won't be the answer because he's too small. So you have fans that are just into, because the guy's French, let's put him on there. No, sorry, the guy's not going to fit on the first line. Okay, let's get that straight. You need some size on that line. Period. You don't have many guys big enough. And the best player for that so far, and he's got a lot to learn, is Slavkovsky. Has fitted that profile next to Kirby Doc, who we don't have the best. And Sean Monahan would probably, but I think Monty's a little slower speed-wise there, though he's so intelligent. So with that said, good responsive snapping. The losing streak. However, there's a lot to be spoken on behalf of the Habs, and again, I think our coaching needs to be addressed in certain areas. I just think let's if you want to have the blessings of a player's full potential, you got to let him play, and you got to let him play his way. Now, yes, you can use the smarts of his defensive coverage. I get that aspect for Jack Eye, and he's still got to keep working on it. However, let him play his game. Let him play intense. And stop babyfying the veterans. So thank you for joining me. We will give you a review of Montreal. I believe we go to Pittsburgh, and that should be interesting. Sidney Crosby always has his way with us, so we'll see what happens. But we'll do a review there Saturday night. Thank you for joining me. Where's Puck Drop First here at Center Heights Productions. Remember that, where we tell it like it is, no BS, and straight up, no pumping tires or false stories. Um, let's hope there are some trades made that we utilize on. I do think Sean Monahan's. Unfortunately, I love this guy, but his valuability is probably going to be the highest with having such a good season that you're probably going to have to accept a trade and take what you can get for him. And I think we should be looking at that. I don't know what we're going to do on defense because you still need to have veterans back there. But do you utilize getting the most for what you can get for certain players? Yeah, I think you kind of got to take, if you can get the best package, you got to take it. We're in a rebuild state, and that's, I think, a problem with Marty St. Louis, is he has to comprehend this team is not at its winning state yet. He's got to get that out of his head. This team is in Mistakeville right now, but although you still got the, if you're so adamant about putting the right culture in, then you better fix your coaching staff at the end of this season, because your coaching staff is pathetic. The defensive play of the structure is a joke from what I can see. And this dropping the puck back when you could clear the puck out and behind the back of the net is a joke. This has got to stop. Get the puck out of your end, and that's what's got to be taught by a defensive coach. I'm sorry, this dilly-dally, this team's not good enough to dilly-dally and bounce the puck back and forth in its own end. Get the puck out of the net, and any good defensive coach would teach you that. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one. God bless.